What is vital is to, when you create these infrastructure banks, that they have capacity and mechanism, institutional rules that draw in accountability and ensure transparency to the general public, but also ensures that the community is heard, that the affected communities that are going to benefit or not from the investments in infrastructure have a voice over that infrastructure and the conditions under which it's financed or not financed. And that is missing. And I think the future of the governance of the Ontario Infrastructure Bank is the linchpin. If you get that wrong, everything from there becomes a magnifying problem.
Do you sign on to much of that, all of that?
I do. I think about, talking about public institutions. You look at the Bank of Canada, where the governor of the Bank of Canada is completely independent from the finance minister. And of course, there was some dealings on that a number of years ago. And that was really the push to make sure that governor role was independent from government. So I think that is where, again, we will have some questions around how independent will this bank be from government's influence and decision making, and that's really, again, comes back to the processes, the mechanisms, the mandate and authority that the CEO and board are given. And when does cabinet or the finance minister, when would they be involved in decisions around deals?
Given that they've created it, though, how do you ensure that it does stay independent?
Well, I think, some of the ideas that I would have are making sure that there's transparency around limits, limits for the kind of deals that get done, as well as the sectors that they're investing in. So again, when we look right now at the sectors that they're targeting, long-term care homes is one example that concerns me. There's already lots of capital available to invest in long-term care homes in the private sector. That is happening today. So the question becomes, what need for there is more capital to go into that sector? And so that then begs the question of, is there a different motive, and for why long-term care homes are one of the target sectors for this bank?
Thomas, where are you on that issue of limits and sectors?
Well, I actually want to go back to the question of independence. So I have a very different view on this. So I worked and studied with public development banks around the world. There are more than 900 still in existence. Combined, they have over $49 trillion in combined assets, total assets around the world. These are nothing new. They are nothing unique. And the governance models vary. And in fact, the best run and most effective infrastructure banks or investment banks are ones that combine government representation alongside strong societal representation and clear roles for small, medium-sized enterprises, for municipalities, for workers, and specific rules around gender equity and so on. And what you need to create a catalytic public bank is a connection between government and society in general that then can co-create the objectives and fund and necessities of society. I think the independence is a false independence. You don't want the government to have a direct control and to shift and say what the bank can do at any given time, but you do want a development bank or an infrastructure bank to be a policy-driven bank. And it's very difficult to be a policy-driven bank if you do not have a cooperative and collaborative link with government. And that's why you need to form democratic forms of governance that connects it to society, that holds it transparent and accountable, so that, yes, you have say with government. Government is an important part of society. We want that in that. It is a public institution. But you also must be held to account directly to those sectors of society that are going to be impacted.